A 229-seat theater and 100-space public parking garage is now open in Price Hill as part of the continued efforts to revitalize East Price Hill. The project cost nearly $6 million and was funded through new market tax credits from the Cincinnati Development Fund and PNC Bank, as well as support from the Cincinnati Recreation Commission, and Price Hill will.
This neighborhood, the Incline District of East Price Hill, has been designated as a entertainment district by the city. There's lots of incentive out there. There's certainly great things happening in the theater. There's a Incline Public House Restaurant, Prima Vista, Corner Block Coffee House around the corner. There's an arts gallery down the corner. There's a lot of development property ready to blossom. So with those entertainment district opportunities like, liquor licenses and whatnot, we expect soon to see a number of institutions grow up around us and really create a fabulous new, corridor for the city.
Looks nice. In this morning's Business Insight, Ken Smith, Executive Director of Price Hill Will, the Community Development Corporation working to revitalize East, West, and Lower Price Hill, is in the studio with Business Watch producer Kelly Leon. Ken and Kelly.
Thanks, Peg. Ken, thanks for being here this morning.
Thank you.
So Peg gave us the official Price Hill Will. What is Price Hill Will? Help us understand a little bit better what you do.
Well, as she said, we're a community development corporation, which means we're a nonprofit. There are several CDCs, or community development corporations, working around Cincinnati. Probably the most well-known is 3CDC. But we do similar work. We do community engagement, we do physical revitalization, and we work on economic development. So we're trying to revitalize our neighborhood to make it stronger.
And you've been at this a long time. I mean, we see things like this on the news about the exciting news about the theater, and you tend to think, well, that must have been easy. You just get some land and you build a theater and that's that. How long have you been at this, and how difficult is it to get some of these projects going? Sure.
Well, Price Hill Will's 11 years old, will be in August. I've been there 8.5 years. And what I've learned is nothing happens overnight. I said at the groundbreaking for the Incline Theater last Friday that tax credit, new market tax credits especially, are not simple. The simple ones are not simple. And certainly that project was probably the most complicated that I've ever seen. So there takes, sometimes it takes years of groundwork before you see the fruition of what you're working on. And other times things fall in your lap, but the theater certainly was a challenging project to put together.
Yeah, well, everything up there, you've got the Incline House and the theater and Prima Vista. It's just such an exciting area and it's just really a small part of Price Hill and what you do.
Sure. Well, Price Hill's collectively, East, West, and Lower are 35,000 people, so that's over 1/10 of the city's population. So it's quite a broad area that ranges from a very old historic neighborhood like Lower Price Hill to something that's very mid-20th century in West Price Hill and almost suburban in feel. Yeah. So there's a little bit of everything in Price Hill, but certainly we've seen momentum in East Price Hill, in particular the Incline District, and we're really excited about that and sort of working to take advantage of that as best we can.
Yeah, and so full disclosure, I went to Seton High School in Price Hill. My grandma lived in Price Hill. I kind of grew up in Price Hill and know the neighborhood pretty well. The residential in Price Hill is pretty amazing.
It is. We have one of our greatest strengths, and Price Hill Will works from an asset-based approach. We don't focus on our deficits. We look at the assets and say, how can we make those better? Not how do we, focus on the negative. Yeah. But one of the strengths of the neighborhood is our historic housing stock. Yeah. It's, German craftsmen working on the west side of Cincinnati. These homes will be standing 100 years after some of the new subdivisions have been removed. I mean, they're just, the quality construction, it would take, literally a bulldozer to take some of these homes down, and they're beautiful. Yeah. And they're affordable. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember growing up in that area and going into friends' homes who had rookwood fireplaces, and they'd literally be like taping the kids' schoolwork to the rookwood fireplace. We didn't realize what was in these structures. I mean, they're amazing. So
what's next? What do you want people to know about what's coming for Price Hill?
Well, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity, and I think as Tim Perino mentioned a couple minutes ago with the new theater opening, there are literally going to be thousands of new people coming into Price Hill who maybe haven't been there before or haven't been there in maybe a decade or two. And I think they're going to see the opportunity. But certainly, we have 2 thriving restaurants that are very hard to get into.
Yeah.
So I think it wouldn't take a genius to figure out that we probably need more investment in you know, sit-down dining in the immediate area of the theater. So there's tremendous opportunity, both residential and commercial. And I just can't wait to see in a couple of years what has continued to grow out of the momentum that's occurring.
And you've got a lot of supporters too within the neighborhood.
Well, Price Hill, the other great strength, well, there are many, but I always tell people that Price Hill's blessed with great community leaders, and I think anybody at City Hall would know that. We have great community councils. We have a great community development corporation, if I do say so myself, and people in the community. I did. People in the community who are great advocates for the community. So we have a lot of capacity.
Great. Well, if you haven't been to Price Hill lately, I'd say get out and walk the neighborhood. It is lots going on. So thank you for your work.
Oh, thank you.
And thanks for being here today.